Awesome. Darlene, James, thanks for joining here. There's a few other folks that may show up here in a short time, but I wanted to get this thing kicked off. Um, welcome to the webinar. And as you know, Medicare alone doesn't always cover everything, and that's why ancillary products like these cancer plans and hospital indemnity plans, and dental vision, all this good stuff can come in handy. Uh, Appreciate you taking a minute to join us here with Demitri, and as we explore some of GTL's ancillary products and how they can help you better serve your clients as well as maximize your sales opportunities with each visit with your clients. Today, like I mentioned, we have a special guest here with Demitri to walk us through these solutions. He's the Assistant Vice President of Sales at Guaranteed Trust Life, brings years of experience in the industry, deep understanding of how these products can be integrated into your sales strategy. And I may have mentioned earlier, I'll be monitoring the chat here throughout. If you have questions, we should have time for a Q&A after. If you want to hold it till then, whatever you need. And with that, I'll just kind of hand it over to Demitri here. Let you take the wheel.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Tanner. Appreciate it. Good morning. Yeah, today I'm just just kind of level set a little bit here. We're going to talk primarily hospital indemnity. I will kind of go over towards the beginning a little about overall product availability, just so you guys have an idea that we have a lot of products, quite a few products in the senior market that's going to be available for you. So definitely we'll be talking about more broad wise, but definitely dialing it into hospital indemnity. And quite honestly, the reason why I think hospital indemnity and in particular the MA market makes a lot of sense is I want to take us back to 20 years ago, back in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, there was no such thing as an MA back then. Back then, it was just traditional Medicare, right? Part A and B. And we all know that back then, what would you have automatically been offering to every single client that you talked to about Medicare? Some alphabet plan, right? It would have been a plan F, it would have been a plan D, a plan G, whatever the case may be, right? That was without question, that's what was going to be offered. So now in 2005, when the MA products came out we came out with our hospital indemnity plan, the Advantage Plus product. Today it's called Advantage Plus Elite. It's just a new new version of it that had more upgrades and more bells and whistles and such. But the same product that we came out in 2005 when the MA came out is the same product we got today, but just tweaked. Now, I say all this because I want you to think about hospital indemnity the same as you think about the alphabet plans. If you were selling back in 2002, you automatically would present the alphabet plan to that traditional Medicare client, right? I don't think anybody would say no to that. That's an automatic thing. That's what we got to treat hospital indemnity as. We can't call it as a supplement to an MA. To be clear, this is not a supplement to MA. This is a standalone hospital indemnity plan and as we go through the plan, you'll see what the benefits are to the MA client and why it makes so much sense to all this that I'm saying right now. It'll all be like, if you're not familiar with it already, if by the time we're done, you're going to be like, okay, a light bulb is going to go off, and you're going to be like, okay, now I see why he calls it a supplement to an MA. So that's what we're going to talk about. Aside with a whole lot of other things too. There's a lot of information to go over, and if you do have questions, please put it in the chat box or the Q&A, whichever one you feel better about to use. And I'll go through the questions at the end. So I probably will answer your questions. So don't think I had about underwriting when we're talking about product. We'll get to everything. You'll know it all. You get all the answers. So if for something I covered and you're not clear on, let's ask that question at that time, and then we'll definitely make sure to clear it up for you, no doubt. But as you can see on the cover here, it says, "Do you want fries with that?" I don't know about everyone on the call here today, but my generation, when I grew up in the 70s, 80s when I was a kid. When I go to McDonald's back then, there was no, do you want a Happy Meal? It was, hey, do you want a Big Mac and fries and a Coke with that? That was the question. Every time you go into a McDonald's and ask that question, you want a fries with that? Do you want Coke with that? So forth. That's what we got to do when we're talking about ancillary products, that we offer, no matter what the ancillary product is. We got to be bringing it up. Do you want fries with that? Think about it. If we all go, we all go clothes shopping. If you go to, if women will go to a dress shop, they're going to get asked if they want an accessory with that dress. Us guys, when we go into a clothing store, if we get a suit, they're going to ask if we want a tie with that suit. Cross-selling is not a foreign concept in our society. I want to put that out there now. I don't want anybody to ever say or think, well, I can't cross-sell and feel like I'm imposing on somebody, because you're not. We get cross-sold all the time, all day long, everywhere we go, everything we do, cross-selling occurs. So let's take that off the table today, right now. Because if you have your mindset that this is part of the process, so this is what we do, is you're going to be successful in cross-selling and in providing more protection to your clients. Okay. I know I probably just said a lot right there in the initial one, and I haven't even started yet. So hopefully this all makes sense, because I really do believe that. I mean, I've been doing this now for over 20 years, with hospital indemnity, and I've heard it all. I've heard it all, and that's why I say all this stuff at the beginning, because I want to get our mindset away from that. Our mindset should be, I'm a cross seller. I'm a provider of options to my clients. Because the clients, I promise you, will not know what any of these options are on their own. They will not know. You probably didn't know until you got presented to it by somebody, for example. We got to be presented the options so that we can take care of it. Okay, so enough with me ranting about this part. So let's talk a little about GTL. So you're familiar with the company. Uh, Guarantee Trust Life Insurance Company is our full legal name. But everybody knows it says GTL. Our hospital indemnity is known as the GTL plan. So we've been doing it for so long that we kind of adopted a Kleenex type of scenario where, if you're talking about, hey, you selling a GTL plan, that means they're probably talking about the hospital indemnity. But we've been doing this now, like I said, 20 years with hospital indemnity. But as a company, we've been around since 1936, family-run business. Still family run, same family still runs the company today. We have third generation of leadership. The current chairman, president, CEO of the company is Rick Holson, and there's a fourth generation of leadership being mentored right now, and so there will be some continuation. We got continuation plans already in place there. So, company is in a good position for many years to come. One of the neat things about our company is that we're a mutual insurance company. So we don't have a lot of those anymore, like we did back in the old days. There was a lot of mutual companies a while ago. Now it seems to be a lot more big corporations, levels and layers and all that stuff. Takes forever to get answers. Nice thing is that we're about 300 people in our company. That's our home office that you see in the picture right there. We have a lot of good tenured folks with a lot of new folks coming in. So there's a good mixture of people so they can pass on the information for down the road too. So really nice there. I think that's probably one of our strongest suits outside of our products is our people here at GTL. It's having having the tenure of folks here. Like I've been here 21 years. A lot of our folks on our sales side, there's three of us on the sales side here that have been here for over 21 years. So we've got a lot of experience in the building in general, so that's a positive. We were founded in Chicago, but our office that you see there is located in Glenville, Illinois. Our home office is not going to change or from where it's been, but what has changed about over a year ago or so is that we changed our domicile state. So our corporation now is based out of actually Nebraska. So so we are a Nebraska company now. But it's been about a year now since that change has happened. So we are licensed in 49 states. The only state we don't do any business in whatsoever is in New York. We don't find any product availability in New York. AM Best wise, we have an A rating with AM Best, which we're very proud of, and it's very hard for us to get that since we're more of a health insurance type of company. It's harder, and a mutual company, it's harder for us to get an A. So things have to be really good, for AM Best to really say yes. Let's go ahead and you earned the A. So that's big. That's big news right there, I think. Product wise, we have a whole plethora of products in the senior market that's available to you to offer to your various clients. Okay, hospital indemnity, as we're going to talk about today. We also have two types of cancer plans. We have the red brochure there called Precision Care, and then we also have cancer, heart attack, stroke. In the base of it all, our Precision Care and cancer, heart attack, stroke, it's the same type of policy. It's a lump sum cancer plan, but there's going to have different bells and whistles on each product. Okay, so the Precision Care, what has built into it is a genomic sequencing benefit. So that means somebody can get the fingerprint of a particular cancer and be able to read that fingerprint and determine the best treatment for that particular type of cancer based on the fingerprint. That's a really neat benefit. That's considered precision medicine. If we probably heard that around, talked about in the media quite a bit. It's incredible. I can tell you, aside from getting the treatments quicker, it does help provide with some peace of mind for insureds, knowing that, okay, you know what, my oncologist in, let's say in Omaha is saying I should go down this path, and now a leading oncologist group out of Tucson, out of Phoenix, Arizona, that works with all the various types of cancer research places, is also saying what my oncologist is saying should be a good plan of action. I feel good, and 50% of the battle for any kind of treatments is going to be mentally, right? So that's it helps. It really does help a lot, and it's really nice benefit. So I definitely encourage you to look at that. But our cancer, heart attack, stroke product, again, it's a lump sum cancer plan, but you can also do a standalone heart attack, stroke, or you can combine all three components to be covered under one plan. The one thing that I do like, in addition to the cancer, heart attack, stroke, is that it does allow you for the option to add a recurrence benefit. So if somebody does get paid out a benefit due to a diagnosis of cancer, if they were being remission for 5 years or longer, then they can get another benefit paid out to them if they get diagnosed with the same or different cancer. Really, I'll talk about this when we talk about the hospital indemnity, how the recurrence works. But really, two different types of plans. They do two different things, but at the core of it all, it's about lump sum cancer payouts. So you got a couple options there. Now, I will tell you, if you have clients that maybe aren't interested in at all about covering their hospitalization copays, you can offer them a straight cancer plan with their MA client, because we'll talk about the whys with them. We'll talk about hospital indemnity. I can go through that with you. But even more importantly, cancer plans, I sure hope you have one yourselves, because 1 out of 3 women, 1 out of 2 men will get diagnosed with cancer during their lifetime. And if we're all on major med type plans that have deductible, we're going to have expenses. We work out on commission, right? If we're not working and not creating income, you can get a lump sum dollar amount that can take care of the expenses to keep your house going for a while you're dealing with the issue on hand. And that's important. It's again, peace of mind. Again, pennies on the dollar for a significant amount of benefit. That's what all these plans that you see on the screen do for you, do for your clients, and can do for yourself. And it doesn't hurt too to turn around and say to a client, hey, med sub client, it could be an MA client, it could be an ACA client. Hey, who do you have your cancer plan with? And then do what I just did. Stay quiet. Let them answer. I know it's hard for me to stay quiet because I have to talk, but you ask that simple question. It doesn't matter the age. 40 years old, 45, 50, 55, all great potential clients to talk to about, because we all know at least for me, I can tell you, I started hearing about cancer personally and I was about 40-ish. So having that conversation with 40-year-olds on up is a good thing. And you're building now business that you can talk to about from a senior side too down the road. So why not, get down a little further than just our senior side? No negatives to that. So also we have a pretty nice short-term care portfolio. We have a nursing home product called Recover Cash, which offers 3 levels of care: skilled, intermediate, and custodial care for a nursing home. So now you can get up to $300 a day, 360-day benefit periods, and you can also add a home health care benefit to that too. So really nice product. It's simplified issue, so it's a good alternative, not a replacement, a good alternative to LTC. We all know we all need LTC, but unfortunately we know the problem. It's expensive or difficult to get, because of underwriting and such. So Recover Cash could be a good alternative for those folks that are concerned with what would happen if they were to have to go to a skilled nursing facility. okay, or a nursing a facility. Now, the other option of the spectrum is some folks are going to say, well, if I have a choice between being treated at home or going to a facility, where are you going to go? Probably 99 out of 100 are going to say, I want to be treated at home. So we have a standalone short-term home healthcare product that has three plan options for various at-home treatments that it can get up to, on Plan A, they can get up to $54,000 of benefit. Plan B up to 108, up to $108,000 of benefit. Plan C up to $162,000 of benefit. In a 360-day benefit period environment with home health aid as part of all that. Now, also what this plan can do for the client is provide a dollar amount for each script that's filled, up to and get a certain amount back every year. So if you had a client that had a generic script that's filled every month, it's $10 each script that's filled. Now, if they have a brand name, they can get $25 for each script that's filled. Now, if the person had a plan A, they can get up to $300 a year. Plan B would be $600 a year. Plan C would be $900 a year. So there's limits depending on the plan options they have. But ultimately, what ends up happening is with folks with their prescriptions and such, you offset that with the annual cost of a home healthcare plan. The net cost of insurance becomes super, super, super affordable. It's like all of a sudden you're like saying, really, it really costs that much to take care of covering short-term home healthcare? It could be as inexpensive as a cup or two of Starbucks a month. That's the kind of the equivalence of what you're looking at. So it depends, for the younger ages at this, initially. But to kind of give you an idea, take a look at it. I think when you look at it, it's going to make some sense for you. We also have some final expense products that's graded benefits. So if you have folks that are day one that don't qualify for your top tier final expense, your day one full benefit type final expense because they're healthy, they qualify for that. For those that aren't healthy that don't qualify for that, our Heritage plan is a good option for them. They can get up to $20,000 of final expense coverage, 6 health questions. They answer no other questions. Policies issued. Graded benefit for the first year is 105% of return of premium upon illness, death due to an illness, 50% face amount in the second year if there was death due to illness, and then third year it's 100% face amount, and if they were to pass of an accident, it's 100% day one coverage face amount for that particular beneficiary to receive. A really nice product. I think makes a lot of sense. And then we also, if you do work in the underage market, more from age 20 to about 60. Turbo Term's a great, fully underwritten, instant decision term plan, very competitive price-wise. So if you're in that underage market, Turbo Term could be a good option for you also. So that's kind of give you the quick highlight. 'Cause I know Tanner mentioned earlier, they've got a lot of options and so forth. So I wanted to hit the options for you now up front, but I'm going to really dig into really about the hospital indemnity from going forward. But if you have questions about any of the plans I just talked about, if you want, you can throw a question in the chat and I'll answer them at the end, no problem. So let's talk about why do we want to cross sell. Hopefully I don't have to talk too much about this or convince or help see the light there. But biggest thing for me when we talk about cross selling, creates a client. One policy offered to an insured is a customer, guys. They may or may not remember you 6 months from now. The likelihood is probably not. It's typically how that works. I don't remember somebody I just bought one thing from, typically. But now if I offered somebody a second or a third product and they purchased, and now if I got a second and third product with that particular individual, that's a client. That's when they're going to know who I am. That's when they're going to know, and I can say to them very easily, if anybody ever presents any options to you, give me a call about it, and we can talk about it. I probably have access to it. We just haven't gotten around to talking about it yet. Not a problem, right? So that creates a client with more products you have in the household. Now, from a business perspective, you guys, and I'm not big on reading slides as you'll find out. I'll let you guys do the reading, but I'll do the talking part and point out things that I like a lot. To me, as a business perspective, I like that adding additional products is about increasing profit per client, which is an important thing. Why we're all in business to begin with is to create a profit. So the initial policy that you sell probably recoups your cost of obtaining that particular client. or a lot of it. Now, you add a second policy, there was no additional cost there other than making a phone call. So any commissions that are made at that point, what happens? It goes straight to your bottom line. It's your profit per client. So at each additional policy you sell, there it is. And another big thing that is part of all this is that as you're in more contact with your clients and you're talking to them about various things or just checking in on them, you can always ask for referrals with any touch point that you make with a particular client. So what hurts when you talk to a client and you say to them, hey, have you met anybody recently that would benefit from meeting with me and kind of going over doing what we're doing for you? Who's going to say no? Who's going to say, oh yeah, go. I just met Johnny. He's a great guy. You know what? Go talk to, you should talk to him. Do you mind giving him a call, letting him know that I'll call him? Sure, not a problem. The clients will do that for you. It becomes so much easier than when we're trying to do the cold call lists and so forth. I'd rather do referral calls than cold call lists, that's for sure. I think we're all in the same boat when it comes to that. But so let's talk about how do we do hospital indemnity cross-selling, because I think that's going to obviously be important. And I'm going to give you a tried and true method. This is something that's been done for the last 20 years, and there's been a lot of folks that have been very successful doing it this way. So the secret is this. CMS even acknowledges that health plans could be talked about during the MA plan. They have hospital indemnity on them. So get it all initialed. Don't just initial one, initial it all. You don't know which way our conversation is going to go. It's like we know which way we want it to go, but it's going to go some way, right? So initial everything. So now you take care of the scope. Now you're getting into your Medicare presentation. You're going through the parts now about MA. You talk about the copays and deductibles that they have on the MA. 0 premium, 0 copays for this, 0 for that, so forth. But inevitably, you're going to get to a part where it talks about hospital care, what their copay is for that. I've heard agents in the past or advisors in the past say $250 a day for 1 days 1 through 6, and then move on to the next thing. That's when you got to slow your roll a little bit here, guys. You got to pull back the reins a little and explain to the client, what does $250 a day for days 1 through 6 really mean? It means Mr. Jones or Mrs. Jones, if you get hospitalized for 6 days, you're going to be responsible for $1,500. And then if you get hospitalized a second time for 6 days, that could be another $1,500. So you either could be out $1,500 or $3,000. Or if you get hospitalized a third time, that could be another $1,500. So you could be up to now $4,500. That's what that means, because your max out-of-pocket exposure is going to be, let's say $5,000. But now you can use this verbiage and say, if you don't want to have to worry your budget for this, after we talk about this plan, I'll show you for about $1 or $2 a day how I can help lower your net out-of-pocket expenses to 0 with a hospital indemnity plan. Does that sound good? 9 out of 10 clients are going to probably say, sounds great. So now you just planted the seed. You're not adding another hour to your meeting by talking hospital indemnity. You're doing this as you're going through your MA presentation. So you're planting the seed now with hospital indemnity. You talk about skilled nursing copay. Tell them what that copay is. When we talk about hospital indemnity plan, I'll show you I can protect you against this copay. Outpatient surgery, ambulance, Part B drugs, 20% radiation chemotherapy gets applied to the MOOP, right? Just tell them, when we talk about hospital indemnity, I'll show you how I can take care of that. Outpatient therapy copay, again, the same thing. When we talk about hospital indemnity, I'll show you I can protect you against that. So now we set it up right now at this point. So now you get to the point where you've got clients, they make their decision knowing that we're going to talk about hospital indemnity to cover up that exposure. They're going to want to go with the MA. You're going through the MA applications. Now, if you're doing face-to-face, you may have a brochure handy. On the cover of the brochure, you'll see that there's a QR code. On that QR code, the client can take their smartphone and access a video that I'll play for you right now. This video does a really nice job of explaining the product on a high level. So here you go.
So, you just enrolled for Medicare Advantage health coverage. Great choice. Did you know there is additional coverage you can add to protect you from the out-of-pocket medical expenses you are still responsible for? Help fill any gaps in coverage and strengthen your financial protection. with a hospital confinement indemnity insurance policy from Guarantee Trust Life Insurance Company. Since 2005, GTL's industry-leading hospital indemnity insurance has been helping clients lower or completely eliminate their net out-of-pocket expenses stemming from Medicare Advantage copays and deductibles after a hospitalization event. Coverage is affordable and pays you directly based on your time in the hospital, regardless of any other healthcare coverage you have or where in the U.S. you receive care. Your potential out-of-pocket costs could be for a variety of services, including ambulance trips, outpatient therapy, critical accidents, and more. GTL's hospital indemnity insurance allows you to customize your coverage to help cover these and many others. Let's see a quick example on how it works. Meet Beth. She is 65 years old and her Medicare Advantage coverage leaves her responsible for a daily hospitalization copay of $300 per day for her first 6 days in the hospital. Knowing she would be responsible for her high copay, her agent helped her customize and apply for a GTL hospital indemnity insurance policy. Beth's new policy provided a restorable 6-day benefit period of $300 per day for less than $25 per month. A few months later, Beth suffered an illness that kept her in the hospital for 6 days. Her GTL hospital indemnity insurance kicked in after the first 6 hours of her stay. Beth received $1,800 directly from GTL for her hospitalization, which she used to completely cover her Medicare Advantage copay. Instead of worrying about how to pay her high copay, Beth could focus on her recovery without a financial setback. You shouldn't have to worry about covering out-of-pocket medical expenses, so now is a great time to think about GTL's hospital indemnity insurance.
All right, so that's the video. That takes about 2 minutes and 25 seconds to play for your clients. So you do that like as you're about ready to kind of verify everything on the MA application, dot the I's, cross the T's, give them 2 minutes, 25 seconds to review it. Once you should be done pretty closely to when the video's done, and then you can go right into talking about hospital indemnity. But the video itself, though, you could use it in other ways. If you want to do email campaigns, you can take the video, copy the link, and embed it into an email. You can do a Facebook post, Insta post, LinkedIn. If you have people following you, clients following you on any of those social media platforms, you have a website maybe. You can put it on your website, the video. You can access the video there and watch it there. You can download the video also onto your laptop if you want to play it on a laptop. If you're using the laptop in your appointments, let them watch it on the laptop. Not a problem. You got a number of different ways you can utilize this video and for your client's benefit there. If you don't like doing technology, we have a paper version of the video. It's called an infographic. You can order a supply of those to have those have those available and slide those over and have your client read them and kind of get a decent idea of what we're talking about there. This is where we have hospital indemnity available today. We have it in 43 states. We have a pretty large footprint. The only states that we don't offer hospital indemnity in is in California, New Mexico, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, DC, and Alaska. So outside of that, we're going to have a hospital indemnity plan in any other states. Okay. So we have hospital indemnity in a majority of the states there. Okay. Now the thing I like about a lot of our complementary products that we offer is that let's say you're in Nebraska and you're buying a plan you're a resident of Nebraska, you go on vacation to California and you get hospitalized, you still get a benefit even though it's not available in California. You still get a benefit even though from the plan. Or maybe you leave Nebraska and you move to California. The policy will follow you. Doesn't change because of the zip code that you're in. It won't change. So you can keep the exact policy you bought at age 65 for $30 a month, let's say, $40 a month, whatever that number is. It'll follow you and stay the same premiums along the way. And as you were to need it, you can file claims on it based on that. So it's a real nice flexibility perspective. Now, another thing you also want to consider too when you're talking about all of our products, really, it doesn't matter what health plan you're on. You can be on a Med Sup, you can be on an MA, a national, regional, local, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the MA is or ACA product. Doesn't matter what the underlying plan is. Some of this is also about being creative, which is kind of cool. To be a little creative on using stuff to fill the need that the client's going to have. But so because whatever benefit you choose for your clients with our products, that's the benefit they're going to get paid, no matter what their actual copay is with their particular plan. So it's pretty neat from that perspective. So how do we do this? How do we create a plan? What is the plan per se? Well, the one initial question you want to ask initially is going to be, how many days do they have in their hospitalizations? Is it 5, 6, 7, whatever that number is? Doesn't really matter what it is, but we want to protect against it, right? So our plan offers a 1-day benefit period. It also offers a 3 through 10 or a 15-day benefit period. These benefit periods are restorable when the insured's out of the hospital for consecutive 60 days or longer. It doesn't mean that they have to use up the whole benefit period before it resets. If they used a partial of the benefit period and then they're out of the hospital for consecutive 60 days, they'll reset to a brand new benefit period again. Okay. If they happen to go in the hospital and, if they happen to go to the hospital for let's say they have a 6-day benefit period, they happen to go to the hospital for 3 days, and then 2 weeks later, they go back in the hospital for another 3 days, they have 3 days remaining. They can claim on that second time they go in for 3 days until they hit their maximum benefit period. And then from that second time, then it's going to be 60 consecutive days to restore it. Unlimited restorations, no limits to how many times it restores. So it's it's very robust type of, from that perspective. I will tell you, just because somebody's doing an MA today, they have and their MA is a 6-day copay, I would not offer initially a 6-day benefit period to cover that up exactly. Take a look at giving them an extra day or two of benefit period in case things do change adversely on the MA side. Now, if they were to happen to be hospitalized for 7 days, they'd still get the 7th day benefit with us. They can use those dollars however they want. So there's going to be, but the FDA MA plan does go up to 7 days of copay in the next few years, or whatever the case may be. They'll be protected then. So that's where from that perspective, I think it makes sense to add an additional benefit day there. Daily benefit amount. If you're on a 1-day benefit period, you can choose a $1,000 to $2,500 of benefit in $10 increments, and days 3 through 10 and 15-day benefit periods. You can choose from $100 to $990 in $10 increments. Again, you'll probably be surprised what I'm going to say here. Just because they have a $250 a day copay on their MA plan, consider and look at giving them maybe a $300 or $350 a day benefit with our hospital indemnity product. Again, don't know what's going to happen next year or 3 years from down the road, and I want to make sure we can, have that protected, because think about the product is going to be an issue age product. So whatever their age is today, that's what their pricing is going to be. But 3 or 4 years down the road, when you want to increase benefits, that's going to be based on their current age down the road. And today, if they got $350 and their copay is $250, they're still going to get $350 from us. So the extra dollars they can use however they need to use them. If they want to save the money, combine the money together, and go on vacation, they can do that. If they have a dog that they want to board, they have the extra dollars to be able, board their dog or pet. So there are a number of different things that could happen with that extra dollars, and aside from just protecting against changes in the MA over the next few years. Okay. Now, also, when it comes to hospitalizations, we don't discriminate between observation or confinement. It's all about hours for us. So they can have, theoretically, not that this will happen, but they could have 7 days of observation at one time. We'll still pay them their benefit that they're due, right? Or there can be 7 days of confinement. Doesn't matter. Each 24-hour period constitutes one benefit period day. But we do have this little benefit that's added on to, that's part of the base plan. That's if you're hospitalized and discharged in the initial 6 to 24 hours, the client will still get 1 day's worth of daily benefit period, even though they didn't hit the 24 hours. That's our short-term benefit. So that under observation or confinement doesn't matter. And if they had a 1-day benefit period, it would be a 25% of their benefit they had in a 1 day. But on the 3 through 10 and 15, it's 100% benefit that they had on the benefit period. They get it in the 6 to 24 hours, which is pretty big. It's a pretty big benefit right there, because a lot of people, if you know people that are going to the hospital, they're trying to get them out before the 24th hour hits. It's advantageous to the hospital to get those dollars versus the $1 that are coming if they are hospitalized for 24 hours or longer. Also, part of the base benefit is emergency room benefit. Now, that's protection against emergency room or urgent care. It's a $150 benefit if they went to any of those two facilities due to an injury. They don't have to be admitted to the hospital, to be able to get this benefit. It's just taking a trip, go into the emergency room, they get $150 because of an injury. Also, mental health benefit, it's $175 per day for up to 7 days per calendar year for a mental health condition. Okay, that's the base plan. Pretty robust right now. It's pretty solid benefits right there, just as a base plan perspective. But there is one last thing that I got to throw in here when I talk about the base plan. Maybe you deal with folks that are veterans. They've served our country, and they use the VA. A lot of times when it comes to indemnity products, they will not pay benefits unless there's a charge incurred. But not our plan. So if you have a veteran that has an MA plan and you offer them a hospital indemnity to cover that exposure in the MA that they have on their backup plan here, even if they went to the VA, we will still pay them. If they were in there for 5 days, and we'll still pay them their benefit that they had due coming to them, because even if they went to the VA, they file a claim, we'll reach out to the VA, get the information of what their admittance time and date is and what their discharge time and date is, and we will pay a benefit to that veteran. So I think that's a pretty big benefit right there in itself. So that's all part of the base plan. Now let's talk riders, because riders is really what kind of makes this feel more of the supplement concept that I talked about at the very beginning. Ambulance rider, added every single one, guys. There's no reason to not add this rider to every single person that you're offering a plan to, because it's very, very affordable. It's 4 times per trip, 4 times per year, 12 lifetime trips to get for the overall rider. It can get up to $400 of benefit per trip. Okay, so now it's each 24-hour period is one trip. So if somebody went in the emergency room and then 2 days later they got transferred to another medical facility with an ambulance, that could be 2 benefits payable in that scenario there. Or maybe they had to get airlifted out for some reason. The air ambulance does trigger a benefit also. Okay. Lump sum cancer rider. This one here is for sure a must add on every single one. The reason being is that radiation chemotherapy copay and the Part B drugs, 20%. That gets applied to the MOOP. If anybody's on an MA and they get diagnosed with cancer, it's guaranteed that they're hitting their MOOP. It's not a question of if, it's when. So having a lump sum cancer benefit is going to be definitely very advantageous for the client, because upon the diagnosis of a growth spreading cancer, which is typically stage 1, 2, 3, or 4, it can get the benefit that they choose. I always tell people, give people 2 times max out of pocket exposure benefit level, because you don't know, cancer doesn't put itself in a nice little box and say, well, I'm going to get treated for cancer just in this year because that's what my MOOP is for. It's going to go over into the following year. In the following year, your MOOP gets reset. That means you're going to have out of pocket again. So that's kind of why we, and I say this now, knowing what I just said. The reality being is that budget friendliness wise, a lot of folks really just go with 1 times max out of pocket. From a presentation perspective, what makes proper sense, 2 times max out of pocket. But from a budget perspective, a lot of folks just go with 1 times max out of pocket with their MOOP, because I get it's a budget play. Not a problem. I understand that part of it all too. Also, part of the cancer rider, this is all included as part of the base cancer rider here, is a cancer in situ payout of 25%. If you're not familiar with cancer in situ, it's just a localized cancer, stage 0. It doesn't spread to surrounding tissue or organs. And then skin cancer benefits payable to a client if they had a basal cell or squamous cell carcinoma removed by the dermatologist. That's something I think a lot of us deal with. They can get a $500 benefit 1 time per year, 3 times over the life of the rider. And there is a 30-day waiting period when it comes to the lump sum cancer rider. So if you sold a policy and it became effective on March 1st, the cancer rider itself doesn't become available until March 30th. So the recurrence benefit that I talked about earlier with the cancer, heart attack, stroke product. Somebody has a $10,000 plan, they get diagnosed with cancer, they get paid out a benefit of $10,000. Now, they go into remission, they're in remission for over 5 years, they get diagnosed with the same or different cancer, the benefit restored to the full benefit amount again. So they got another $10,000 that's payable to them. But if they get diagnosed with the same or different cancer in less than 5 years of being in remission, see the little bar graph on the right there? That's the percentage of the original amount that they would get paid out for the recurrence of the cancer. So after 1 year, it's 10%. Years 2 and 3 would be 25%. Year 4, 50%. This is unlimited restorations. So every time there's a payout, the clock will start over again for the client. Okay. Very nice ride, very nice option to definitely add on to the lump sum cancer rider. It's very affordable for sure on that aspect too. Skilled nursing, two options, days 1 through 50 or days 21 to 100. Most everybody goes with days 21 to 100. You can go from $100 to $300 of benefit because that really matches up really well with the MA plans. That's that kind of makes sense. It's a more cost effective way when you look at the two different types of options. It's going to be the more affordable options, the days 21 to 100. I mean, could you do the days 1 through 50 on MA plan? Sure. You'll still get paid your X number of dollars per day in the first 20 days, even though there's no copays on the MA. Sure, you'll still get paid. Not a problem. This also restores unlimited number of times when the insured is out of the skilled nursing facility for a consecutive 60 days or longer. The gatekeeper to trigger benefits on the skilled nursing is client needs to be hospitalized for 3 days, observation or confinement, doesn't matter, but hospitalized for 3 days, and then admitted in the skilled nursing facility within 30 days. It's kind of like traditional Medicare's definition, with the exception of the confinement word. They use confinement, we don't. Also, we have an outpatient surgery rider that's you can choose 2 times per year benefit of $250, $500, $750 to $1,000. Again, 2 times per year benefit for outpatient surgery. Incision made, tissue removed. That's what outpatient surgery refers to. Cataract surgery, 1 in May, 1 in July. That's 2 separate benefits. We also offer a lump sum hospital benefit of $250, $500, $750. This restores every 60 days that the person's out of the hospital, like the base plan does. What this does is, if you offer the client $300 a day benefit for 6 days, let's say, the first day somebody's hospitalized, they get $300 plus the $250. So in the first day, it's get $550, and then second through 6 days, they'll get the $300 each day. So that's how that lump sum benefit would work. Now, it depends on the MA plans that you're working with, if it's needed or not, but it's just an option there in case you run into some situations where you have a higher day 1 type of copay versus spread out evenly across all 6 days or 7 days, whatever the case may be. Outpatient therapy is another great rider, $50 a day for physical, occupational, speech therapy. 30-day benefit period is the only one you need to worry about. 15 days doesn't make sense money-wise. It's a 96 cents difference in terms of cost per month to get a 15-day versus a 30-day. So for the extra dollars that we're talking about to get for the extra 15 days, it's definitely worth 96 cents a month for sure for the client. And also, you get a 5 days of chiropractic coverage for $50 each day. That's due if the person's going to chiropractor because of injury, not just because somebody wants to go get adjusted. It's more because of an injury scenario that's part of it. That's all part of one rider, one rider right there. Then now this is a newer rider to us. We just started offering this here this last fall. It's a guaranteed purchase option. I call it GPO. So I don't have to say guaranteed purchase option too much. So the GPO it allows the client to increase their base benefit. They have 5 times to exercise this option before their age 85, 1 time per year, of 10%. So if I had a $300 a day base benefit, and I want to increase my plan today, I can increase it by $30. So now I have $330. So if I get paid out benefit, I get $330. Now, second time, I can increase it a second time for $30 more. So now I'm at $360. The third time, as you can see, I'm up to $90. So I have $390 in total that I'll get paid out. What's the benefit for having a GPO? Benefit is you don't have to go through underwriting. You don't have to go through pre-X. You don't have to go through contestability. It just gets added onto your policy. at the client's current attained age every time they make the adjustment. Okay. Also, part of this is a wellness rider. It's a $100 annual benefit for a client going to get the physical exam. Okay. Most of the clients are going to do that anyways. So the cost of the rider, and then if you get back that $100 benefit, that pretty much makes that rider nil in terms of cost. It really washes it out pretty effectively. So good. This is the states at the bottom here where it's available today. As you can see where it's listed there. Got a few states. We're getting more and more states from a product approval, rider approval perspective, and just kind of keep adding to that list as we go along. I think this is a real nice option too. I think it's something definitely to consider. The next, I believe this is the final rider here. This is the critical accident rider. I call this the senior market rider. I'd like to have fun a little bit, I guess, but $5,000 or $10,000 plan for accidental death benefit is what this is. But if your client were to fall and break their hip and they had a $10,000 plan, they can access $2,500 payable to them and reduce their accidental death benefit amount by that same $2,500. So if they die of an accident, their beneficiary receives $7,500. And then so on and so on. If it happens again multiple times, it'll just reduce down that dollar amount on the accident benefit until it gets to zero. This also has a 30-day waiting period here. Okay, so some of the things that you're going to talk about, the policy is issuable from ages 40 to age 85. I'll talk about guarantee issue in a moment here. The policy is issue age pricing. So what that means is that if you're buying this plan at age 65 and it costs you $42.50, that same price is going to be in place for a very, very, very long time. I can tell you historically, over the last 20 years, we have never needed to consider doing a rate increase or a benefit decrease because of experience on the block of business. So, and we're not even thinking or dreaming about how that scenario is going to work because not even close to anything happening. So we should be all good. We do an annual policy fee, which the annual policy fee is commissionable to you on a first-year commission basis. And then benefits are paid directly to the policyholders, which is important because you want the dollars to be controlled by your client. You don't want to have them sent to a provider and then anything left over, wait a few weeks before you can get the money back. So it's a good idea to kind of have it all sent to the insured. All right, so let's talk. I'm going to show you a little example here about the power of why does it make sense to do a hospital indemnity plan versus trying to self-insure an MA plan. So if you had a MA plan only and you go to an ambulance, you use the ambulance to get to the hospital, and you're in the hospital for one day, you're out of pocket $550. But if I can set up for you a 6-day benefit period, $300 a day hospital indemnity plan with a $250 ambulance, it's probably going to cost over $550. You're probably guessing, right? And you knew that was a setup. Of course not. It's not going to be it's $320 is annual premium at age 65, which is, like I just said, it's going to stay constant for many years to come. At age 70, you're still under what the cost is for one day. So now when you turn around and think about it, if you're trying to self-insure this MA plan yourself, if you get hospitalized for 6 days for $300 a day, that's $1,800 plus the $250 ambulance. You're out $2,000. Whereas the hospital indemnity plan for the same $320 has you covered for that $2,000. And then it'll restore again after 60 days. And if you get hospitalized again for another 6 days, you got another $2,000. That's $4,000 for the same $320. I'm not really good at math, but I don't see where this is an issue. I think this makes a lot of sense. If I take $320 and I put it in the market today, and 3 months from now, if I were to pull it out, how much do you think I'm going to have? Not $2,000. I might have maybe $400 or $500, maybe if I'm lucky. This is a great way to be able to take care of the pennies on the dollar for premium that the insurance represents, right? To get access to a significant amount of benefit. One thing I want to throw out here just as info, the average senior 65 to 75 years old savings account is $8,000. So if the MOOP is $5,000, let's say, or $6,000, whatever that number is, They get diagnosed with cancer, wipe out their savings. They get hospitalized twice, could wipe out half their savings. A lot of bad things can happen by not having insurance to protect it, right? There's a reason why they have the $8,000 being saved. And I promise you, just like I could promise, I know you don't have a savings account to save for your deductibles and co-pays on your health plans. You have savings accounts to do what? Buy a house, car, vacation, anything other than co-pays and deductibles, right? That's the same thing we're talking about for the senior clients. They're not saving for these things. That's what these hospital indemnity plans are supposed to do for them, and will do for them. I mentioned to you earlier about using extra days, adding days as your to your what your co-pays are. Instead of doing a 6-day, the cost on adding 2 additional days is about $3 a month. If you want to add 1 day, it's $1.50. I just want to kind of give you an idea of what I was talking about, that it doesn't really add a whole lot to be able to protect them against, changes in MAs. So, and I'm going to encourage you, this is my package. This is what I believe should be presented to every single one of the clients. But you come up with your own package. Whatever you feel that every one of your clients should be presented to. The reason why I like the package approach for your perspective is that you get good at presenting it. You're doing the same presentation over and over and over again, so it's good. And you're also, covering yourself a little bit by saying, well, I did present this option to them, and they opted not to get it. So my options are going to be, well, you know what? I want to cover your hospitalization, ambulance, cancer, and skilled nursing. Those are the things that could really get me to MOOP. It's going to be $67 a month for the particular age group. Okay. How does that sound? Yes or no? If they say it's a little too high, not a problem. If they say yes, go to the application, fill it out, you're done. But if they say it's a little too high, okay, what would you like me to remove? Cancer or skilled nursing? Well, so let's say they say skilled nursing. All right, well, how's $54.85 a month? Oh, that sounds better now. Okay. So now you can go into the application, or if they say, yeah, or maybe they went the other way. Maybe instead of saying, let's remove skilled nursing, maybe they said, well, let's remove cancer. So now that's going to be $43 a month. Well, let's go ahead in the application then at that point. Maybe they say no to both. They don't want any of those 2 riders. So base coverage with ambulance for $30.65. How's that sound? Sound great? That's, and then be like, yeah, it sounds perfect. Okay. Go to the application. Now you're giving them at least something versus nothing at the end of the day. By offering a complete package, now you can't. Now when the kids get involved, and they say, well, why do my parents have to pay this amount of money out of pocket? Well, when we talked about the MA plan, I offered them a hospital indemnity plan. My package I offer to every single client is this. You have protection against. Now you have a little some protection from your perspective. I think that's helpful. So underwriting wise, outside the guarantee issue period, there's 5 simple yes/no questions. If they answer no to all the health questions, policy's issued. If it's within the guarantee issue period, you don't have to answer the first 5 health questions. Guarantee issue period is age 64 and a half up to age 70. So if there are 64 and a half through age 69. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. So let's see, what's some other important things here about the underwriting wise? Pre-existing condition language is important. That's definitely something that you definitely want to make sure your clients understand what that is. They can't buy the car, get it wrecked, and then ask for insurance afterwards. That's kind of the concept, right? That's what pre-existing condition talks about. If a client's been doctored for something the last 6 months, and then they get hospitalized and in the first 6 months policy is in force, that's not a covered condition. It'll be covered 6 months in 1 day, but not in the first 6 months. If they haven't been doctored for anything, and then they get hospitalized for something, get hospitalized out of the blue, yes, you got day 1 coverage. This is what the application kind of looks like here, high level. And so the application, that's what it looks like, because if you have to answer the health questions part. Lump sum cancer is never a guaranteed issue. You always have to answer those first 5 questions. Those first 3 questions are for cancer. It's a 5-year look back. So if they've been in remission for 5 years or longer, then they can still qualify for our plan for cancer. It's the same for our precision care and our cancer heart extra. Same questions for that too. Now, e-app wise, if you're doing face-to-face sales, we have a mobile app that you can download onto your Apple or Android device. I like that for face-to-face because this way you can capture a signature right on the mobile app and then submit it directly. Works very similar to our website version. There's a couple things that's a little different on the website than it is on the e-app, but on the mobile app. But for most purposes, e-app on the mobile app and the website version is the same. The website version does have a fill the gaps tool that's available to you. If you put the client zip code in there, it'll pull MA information that's available in that particular zip code, and it can give you, as you can see on the screen, some basic information of what the MA plan has and how a hospital indemnity plan can match up to it. Very nice. It's a very nice little tool to be able to help with that. And then I want to show you what the e-app process looks like going through it, so you can kind of see what a app kind of looks like without actually doing it yourself right now. So this is where if you do a voice verification call, it gives you the number to call and then just conference in voice verifications that we have. It's an AI thing that asks them questions. And then once it's done, then you can submit the app here. Now, the other option that you have when it comes to voice from an app on the website version, because that website version, a lot of people use that for when they're doing telephonic sales. So you got a text to sign option, so you can click on text to sign, send a text to the client to give you a verification code, and that verification code you input it onto your screen, hit verify, and then you move on, and then you can go ahead and submit the application from there. So I personally, I like the text to sign better. It's a little easier. I think most people today can figure out how to be on the phone and text really easily, and open up a text while they're on their phone. If you're talking to them on their cell phone or so forth. So claims process wise, this is what you need to kind of know about from a hospital indemnity claims perspective. Page 1 of the claim form is just a how-to. What do you need to file a claim for hospitalization? What do you need for cancer? What do you need? It's just basic information. And then page 2 is the name, rank, serial number of the client, information when they're hospitalized, basic information there. No doctor's signatures or anything like that. And then page 3 of the forms is a HIPAA form that we need in case we ever need to reach out to providers. The infamous HIPAA that we all love to hear about. And then the other things, depending on what the supporting documentation is, that's what a UB04 form looks like. That's what you need for hospitalization, is a UB04 form. It's a red bar computer paper, and that's what we would need to be submitted for that, from a hospitalization perspective. So it's it's real simple process at the end of the day. Just from a managing expectations perspective, we will tell you, I'll tell you this until I'm blue in the face. We want to pay all the viable claims that we're contractually obligated to pay. We're going to pay them. So if the clients want to call with you as the agent on the line and ask about claims process, not a problem. That's fine. We just can't give you the agent information about a claims because of HIPAA. So we got to make sure we keep that in mind. Claim processing time once we receive all the supporting documentation and is about 8 business days. And if we do have to go out and get some additional information, I will tell you, it takes we follow up on that request for additional information about every 3 days. So that it does get followed up on. It doesn't just, we don't just ask and just sit there. So it's important to know that. If you do have product questions or e-app questions and such, our sales support folks are awesome. They can be reached at 800-323-6907, or you could even text them at that number a question, and they'll respond to you via text. If you ever do have any questions and want to talk further about this, these this or any other products, your sales rep, I guess, is Greg Esposito is the person. You can call that number and reach out to Greg Esposito. He'd be of he's my counterpart, but so he's definitely a guy that you definitely want to talk to if you ever need to. He's definitely be very wealth of knowledge on all the products also. And if you do want to email any questions, agency@gtlic.com is a great spot to go, way to get questions answered also. So I appreciate the time today. Appreciate business, and I don't think I don't know if there's any questions or not in there in the channel, other than I think I saw somebody saying they had to leave, but
Yeah, Darlene had to jet a little early, but no big deal. James, I appreciate you showing up here too. And Demitri, just so you know too, we record all of these and we post them in our training library for agents. So
okay.
This will reach more folks here in the organization. Real quick before I let you go too, I did want to harp on it. I know you touched on it, and I can't stress it enough. The opportunity to make somebody a client as you're approaching that T65 date. I think you hit the nail on the head there with that. A lot of these times, we're getting this information from our hospital referrals and just clients in general with months in advance to their 65th birthday. And they're getting bombarded with mailers and calls and this and that. Given the opportunity to kind of get the relationship started with somebody can really just, silence the outside noise and really just drive that home. So I think that was a really great point for you. That's just kind of something I caught there that I really try to stress to the agents too. So I thought that was great. And I do appreciate your time running through this. It was very informative, and yeah, looking forward to. I actually had an inquiry already about getting somebody contracted with you. So we'll be
awesome.
on moving forward here.
Great. I appreciate the time, guys, and have a great rest of your day today.
Awesome. Well, Demitri, thanks again, man. I know you're a busy guy. I'll let you get going, and James, we'll have this up here if you want to refer back to this recording, and anybody else that's watching on the recording at home. Appreciate you taking a minute to hang with us. So,
all right, take care.
See you later.
All right.
Thank you, Demitri.